Today on Talk the Tings, I'm going to try to address something that perplexes me all the time, but it's an ongoing issue that seems to be escalating, especially in Jamaica. We're talking about gender-based violence. It happens around the world, but in context, I'm going to speak about Jamaica in particular because there have been a few things that happened recently. So recently in Jamaica, we saw some protests, some from the nurses, like multiple nurses associations in Jamaica, because one of their own was attacked in what is being categorized as a road rage incident. The attacker has since been charged with about 5 different assault charges, but there's a video that went viral. Luckily, there was a video. A nurse was on her way to work, and this gentleman was, driving erratically, and she was trying to get around him, and he proceeded to block her, walked up to her vehicle and started an assault, from spitting on her to other things, pulled her out of her own vehicle and treated her like a rag doll, really, even stepping on her head and face and so on. So she had to go to emerge and so on. But I'm sure the trauma, remembering it, is going to be lingering. Juxtaposed are protests from UTech students because one of their own was unalived. And you hear, nursing students saying they don't feel safe. You hear women in general in Jamaica saying they don't feel safe. And this gender-based violence thing seems to, feels like, has escalated. Here's the thing. It's always been a thing in Jamaica. Part of it from our post-colonial heritage. We can talk about that another time. But just a general disdain for women and children has continued to grow. So Jamaica right now is the 11th highest for femicide. Femicide being specific homicide against women. Jamaica, sadly, can boast that 4 in 10 women have experienced sexual or physical violence. Jamaica, sadly, can boast that 37% of women have experienced non-partner related violence, and sadly can also boast that about 63% of women who experience sexual or physical violence do not report, do not seek help. And there's so many layers to this that we can't even discuss it in this kind of forum, because there's a mental health factor. I think of the late Dr. Fred Hicklin's work as it relates to mental health and decolonizing mental health, and he said a lot of things, and famously he said like about 70% of Jamaicans have mental health issues. But he also spoke of owning our madness, and I think we're at that reckoning point again where we need to own our madness, because this must be madness enough to stand up on the woman's head, right? That have to be some kind of madness. And then I think about the professors that have been working on corporal punishment and wanting that to be eradicated fully in the island, including in homes. And the connection to prisoners in Jamaica. Some have found that most prisoners who have committed violent crime have experienced violence as children. That is abuse, child abuse, heavy beatings, and so on. Not all children who experience heavy beatings end up in prison, but most of those in prison have experienced it. So I think about those connections. I don't know if they're all connected at the same time to what is happening with women and children and the violence against us, but I know that they are related. And I am perplexed because the women highly at risk are aged 20 to 39 for gender-based violence in Jamaica. And I can think about my own experience with this when I was living in Jamaica, for another story, another day. But we have to do something. Professor Hicklin had said that he used a phrase, I look at it, TRMS, and he was using it in terms of colonialism and the impact on mental health. And he said, this RAS must stop. I'm going to use it in this instance as well. As we hear the outcry from nurses, as we hear the outcry from students, as we hear the outcry from entertainers who are saying enough is enough, stop it all, popcorn and do video. This ras must stop.